An apple a day keeps the doctor away. But what happens if you eat an apple every day for 1,000 days? Today I'm going over my story of a self-imposed challenge that I took way too far. 1,000 apples wasn't actually supposed to happen. I thought this challenge would end at like 300, maybe 500 apples max, and even that was pushing it, but clearly I was wrong. But now that the challenge is over and everything's said and done, I find myself in a better place than I was 2 years ago. And I do attribute that success to a simple fruit. So what happened here? What was the challenge? Why did I eat 1,000 apples? How did my life change with this small lunch choice? Did I prove that an apple a day actually keeps the doctor away? Or, given that I have a PhD and am actually a doctor, has my apple eating caused a massive tear in the universe that will eventually swallow all of existence? The answers to these questions might not be what you expect. But first, this video is sponsored by Raycon. Are you still looking for some good deals for Black Friday and Cyber Monday? Well, might I suggest checking out Raycon's everyday earbuds. Their latest model now has a 32-hour battery life, and they have multi-point connectivity, which allows you to pair to 2 devices at one time. Raycon was kind enough to send me a pair the last time they sponsored the channel, and I still use them while I work on videos and work out at the gym. I still love how snug they fit in my ears. I never have to worry about them falling out. You can also get the protective casing that comes in a variety of different styles. This one being Ocean Waves. And they support wireless charging, so I don't need to worry about taking off the protective case to get 90 minutes of battery with only a 10-minute charge. These everyday earbuds also come with a 30-day happiness guarantee, so you really can't lose here. Shut up, phone, I'm talking about Raycon! It's time to save big for Cyber Monday. Go to buyraycon.com/salmon today to get up to 30% off site-wide. That's right, you'll get up to 30% off everything on Raycon's website when you go to buyraycon.com/salmon. And thank you, Raycon, for sponsoring this video. So why did I eat an apple every day in the first place? Yeah, I know. This all started with Andy's Apple Farm, right? At least for those of you who have been keeping up with this endeavor for the past 2.7 years. There's probably plenty of you who have no idea what I'm talking about and want to learn more about the weird apple guy who apparently hates doctors. So I think this is all worth an explanation. When I sent out my daily tweet, it always said the following: I eat an apple a day until Andy's Apple Farm Chapter 2 comes out. Day, and then whatever day it was. But why choose this little innocuous game? What's so special about this game that I decided to go out of my way to eat the main character 1,000 times? I'm sure veterans of the channel know the game very well, but for those who don't know, Andy's Apple Farm is a cute little game about an apple who goes around earning stickers by playing mini games with his friends. Oh yeah, and there's also an evil pumpkin entity, an axe murderer, and apparently many of the characters in this game were real people who are now trapped and cannot escape. Fun stuff. Analog horror games and videos were kind of the thing 2 to 3 years ago, and I definitely got sucked into this type of content. The idea that a game extends beyond its boundaries and interacts with the real world and other parts of the internet in some hidden way. I mean, they're kind of like the upgraded version of all those EXE horror games from last decade. For example, in a game called Rabbit Knight, where you are this bunny paladin walking around fighting evil, you go through several stages, fight some boss battles, reach multiple endings, and then, oh my god, this entire game was just hidden lore for Andy's Apple Farm. It's those little surprises and unexpected moments that really do it for me. Andy's Apple Farm, and Rabbit Knight for that matter, did very well on my channel. And with any successful YouTube series, you gotta milk it for all it's worth. Full disclosure, that's an honest part of this. It's the business side of being a content creator. Gotta pay attention to that algorithm. But this was one of those rare moments that I was playing a game that not only did well, but that I enjoyed. Even the fan games were fun to play. Special shout out to J-Ski Bean's Peter Haystack Maze. Any attention that I could draw to the game I felt would, 1, benefit me in the long run, and 2, would be fun. At the time, I was already having this weird reputation of playing fruit-based horror games. Why not embrace it? So a little about me. I like stupid jokes that last way too long, or are repeated ad nauseum. You know, things like, that's what she said, or, do you know who else eats apples every day? That is a terrible Muscle Man impression, I'm sorry. Years ago, while browsing YouTube, I went down this rabbit hole of watching dumb, nonsensical content, and then I stumbled upon a series of videos of a young man taking a bite out of an onion every day until the next Shrek movie was announced. Absolutely inspirational, especially while doing things alongside eating grilled lettuce every day until Gordon Ramsay comes to my house. Fun, harmless, stupid little things that go on for way too long. While writing the script, I did look up those old Onion videos, and the guy's still doing the same sort of stuff, except the content's a little different. So I do feel compelled to say, I don't approve, obviously. I like stupid, dumb jokes that don't get you canceled. After uploading my series on Andy's apple farm, I decided to run with the idea, but not without some approval from a friend, of course. Now, he thought the game would release in the next several months. So I said, cool. That's what, around 90 apples maybe? 100 apples if we get real crazy? Time to eat an apple every day until chapter 2 comes out. Chasky Bean, I love you so much. You added fuel to my already stupid idea, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Every morning without fail, I write a to-do list for the day. I can be a very forgetful person at times, I've learned, and so I've gotten into the habit of just writing my thoughts and ideas down, and this translated into just creating a to-do list every day, just to keep myself organized and sane. Arguably, I might have too many to-do lists. Sometimes my to-do list for the day is to take all the to-do lists I haven't quite finished and consolidate them all into one big, giant, massive to-do list. But at the top of every list, every day without fail, I wrote apple tweet. Listen, I told you guys I was serious about this. So I started eating apples. A week went by, a month went by, 100 days went by, still no Andy's Apple Farm Chapter 2. Early on, I tried to do some fun stuff with the apple eating, including chugging a glass of apple juice with a slice, or dipping apples in mustard, which is not recommended, by the way. But as time went on, and as my focus turned to other projects and work-related endeavors, I was content to keep it simple. No more mustard on apple shenanigans. 200 days, then 300 days, then a year, which I celebrated its birthday. I think it was the year mark when I really locked in. I got this far. I'm not dropping it now. The developer of Andy's Apple Farm, M36 Games, was very supportive throughout this entire challenge and was actually very sweet in saying that I didn't have to do this for the game. And sometimes they felt like they were making me eat the apples. And I'm like, I want to do this. This is 100% my choice. I put myself on this path and I'm gonna walk it. To be honest, after a while, I actually didn't even correlate the apple eating to Andy's Apple Farm. I would just take the tweet from the previous day, copy and paste it, and just change the day. Over time, it just became part of the routine. I would have it at the top of every daily to-do list, and later in the day, I would eat an apple. And for those wondering, I know this is a question burning in some people's minds, mostly Gala apples, sometime Honey Crisps, the occasional Fiji. By the way, who's the psychopath who created the Red Delicious apple? That is garbage. Yeah, it's red. Sure ain't delicious though. For those wondering what a Red Delicious apple tastes like, you might actually already know. Just think of a school cafeteria, and if they give you an apple, it's most likely Red Delicious. Throughout this entire challenge, many people have asked me if I ever got sick of eating apples. And surprisingly, the answer is mostly no. Sometimes it was annoying early on when I forgot to go to the store to pick up apples, and so I needed to make a 9 p.m. run to just make sure that I got my daily apple in. I learned pretty quickly that I should just buy in bulk. My local grocery store sells apples by the bag. But like I said, it was just part of the routine, like brushing my teeth or taking a shower. It's just something I did. I will say that around apple number 800, maybe number 850, I did start to get sick of eating apples. But remember now, it's just an apple. It takes me 5 minutes to eat, record, and post. Not that big of a deal. Now, some of y'all out there had some wild thoughts about all this. It turns out that an apple a day keeps the doctor away until you actually eat one every day, and people freak the f out. People would often ask me if I was okay, concerned about my health, and yeah, I'm fine. It's an apple. Then again, this is Twitter, and the site isn't necessarily known for its intellectual conversations. I'm not really sure where we've gone wrong as a society if people are worried about the cyanide levels in apples and my health for eating apples. Like, I might die from eating so many apples, which... fine. It's actually kind of interesting, so I'll hit you with some facts. Apples do contain trace amounts of cyanide. That is true, but only in the apple seeds. And you would need to eat hundreds of seeds for you to actually start being affected. And that's with actually chewing the seeds. Just swallowing them whole does nothing. But does eating an apple a day actually keep the doctor away? Let's ignore the irony that I'm actually a doctor and have a PhD, and that these apples may or may not have given me apple-based powers. By eating an apple every day, did I spend less time sick or less time in the doctor's office? Food Theory already covered this topic in detail, which has a ton of interesting information and a lovely cameo by yours truly. In my experience, the answer is a resounding no. In the last 100 days, I've been sick several times with the common cold, COVID, and most recently strep throat, for which I did go to urgent care. And this isn't counting me going to the doctor for my nasal surgery, my injury on my finger that I got bowling, and me pulling my back from stretching. I pretty much saw the doctor as much as I usually would. Actually, I probably saw the doctor more so given the physical issues I dealt with. Okay, 30s. I see you. Oddly enough, I did notice that my dentist was reporting less issues. I mean, usually when I go in to get my teeth cleaned, I feel like a child about to be scolded by their parent because I didn't do everything that he told me to do in the last 6 months. But hey, for the first time, he was like, oh, You're doing good, keep it up. What? No cavities or nothing. And this all backs up that food theory's video research. Good job over there, Dan. Apparently, Theory got it right. Eating apples did have a positive influence on my diet. Beforehand, I never really ate a lot of fruit, which I should have. But now I was getting a daily dose of apple. That's some good fuel for my body. And given that apples are a great source of fiber, I've been pooping better than 95% of y'all. And that is a sentence that I just said. On top of that, this daily routine disciplined me, and I started making healthier decisions with my food. Smaller portions, drinking water instead of a beer, going to the gym, getting on the treadmill. A lot of little consistent choices that added up in a big way. Early this year, I lost 25 pounds between the months of January and May, going from 200 pounds to 175. And that's really exciting for me because 175 was my goal weight for years. And might I add that I've been maintaining my weight for months? In fact, I broke my 170-pound barrier in October. If y'all remember Jayski Bean, who edited for the channel a few years back, he noticed that there was a major difference in how I looked years prior. Super nice of him to point out. Now, this comparison was made way back in 2022, so I kind of fluctuated in my weight a little bit there, but now I've lost the weight for good. This discipline didn't stop at my diet. It started going into other things in my life. I started learning American Sign Language, something that I've been wanting to do for years. I started to make some new and challenging choices in my life that otherwise I would have just said, I'll do it later, maybe tomorrow, we'll see. I had always wanted to start posting more video essays like this one. I've been wanting to do it for years, and I do attribute the apples for disciplining me to say, hey, let's challenge myself and try something new. I feel like this was helpful in me overcoming my anxiety to try these new things. For a lot of things, I didn't feel held back anymore. But like all good things, my journey had to come to an end. I was approaching 1,000 apples with no Andy's Apple Farm Chapter 2 in sight. But at this point, like I said earlier, this wasn't even about that silly little apple game anymore. This was now about achieving a goal several years in the making. This was about proving to myself that not only could I improve my self-care habits, but also discipline myself to overcome my anxiety and try new things. Challenge myself, push myself further, and that I could go the distance and eat 1,000 apples across 1,000 days. A milestone that many of you guys let me know was coming up and were very excited for. So I decided 1,000 apples was going to be the end. And thus the countdown started. 900, 950, 998, 999, 1,000! I did it! 1,000 apples! From February 8th, 2022, all the way to November 3rd, 2024, which is 999 days. Wait, what just happened? It turns out on one of the days I ate 2 apples, meaning that I ate 1,000 apples in 999 days. So I failed you, I guess? Whatever. I'm sure that with some time zone magic, I probably did eat 1,000 apples within 1,000 days, but I don't want to calculate that out. My PhD is not in whatever that is supposed to be. Math, I guess. I don't know. Y'all really made my day with your positive replies and retweets, so thank you for all the love. Unsurprisingly, there were a handful of people who were upset, saying that I gave up and I couldn't go all the way. But that's not how I see this. Sure, I stopped eating apples before Chapter 2 came out, but that doesn't take away my feeling that I achieved something as silly as eating an apple every day is, and had a journey of self-improvement along the way. This is my favorite response, and I think it hits the nail on the head. I beat my own challenge. Or at least that's how it feels. By the way, all of you doubters saying that Andy's Apple Farm Chapter 2 will never come out, I mean, I get why you're saying that. It has been over 1,000 days. Not to speak for the developer, but I can confirm that the game is still being worked on, and it will be released eventually. They just want to make sure it's up to their standard. Plus, sometimes life gets in the way. It happens. Overall, this silly decision to eat an apple a day for my own self-amusement turned into a journey of self-improvement that I took seriously. I improved myself, body and mind, and I learned more about myself and confirmed that I still have the ability to attack challenges head-on with determination and perseverance. I regret nothing. Special shout out to my friends who encourage my stupid decisions, such as eating an apple every day, especially my theory peeps. You know who you are. It does feel weird that I'm no longer eating an apple every day since it was part of my routine for so long. Maybe I need to find something else to do for 1,000 days. Maybe I'll smash pumpkins.